Welcome to the podcast where we take a deep dive into the stories behind construction business leaders. We will share how they got started, how they found success, and the lessons learned along the way. I'm your host, Eric Fortenberry. Welcome to Builder Stories. Welcome back, everybody. Today I'm here with Carlos Adame from Transom Remodeling, located in our hometown of Dallas, or I guess technically Richardson, Texas. We actually first started JobTread in Richardson. Since then we moved, all of 10 minutes south into Dallas, but it's all the DFW Metroplex. So really excited to have Carlos on today to share his story. And appreciate you coming on, Carlos. Welcome to Builder Stories.
You bet. Thank you. Thank you for the invite. What a pleasure. What a surprise. What a honor to be here with JobTread. You guys were knocking on our door a few years back, and you were all small enough that we can just ignore you and tell you, no, we don't need you. Now we can't live without you.
Oh, so, man, I appreciate that. So why don't you tell us your story? I mean, how'd you get into construction? How'd you start your business? Kind of give us the full backstory, because I know you got a really interesting story.
Well, it just one thing led to another, but it's trying to follow my passions and the things that I enjoy doing. I study for many years and follow the corporate America dream, and did all the way up to an MBA, and just did not find any satisfaction in it. I became a realtor for a short period of time, sold one house, and had a blast. Enjoy every second of it. Just going out to different houses, showing people real estate, but just didn't have any clue about business. So I eventually continued school and finished that, and got a job in Dallas as a bookkeeper for a flooring business. And from there, I noticed again that I really like being in people's houses. So, because I was a bookkeeper, but they would take me to, it was a small stuff firm that would let me do other things. So I would go to see and inspect some of the jobs. But again, I was determined to follow the corporate American dream that, everybody pictures for you out there. And I went back to accounting and working for manufacturing and healthcare, and I was miserable for about 8 years. And one day I was at one of my jobs behind a residential area, and I could look out the window and see people working on the roof. I was just thinking, I would die to be out there. I would just kill to be out there instead of sitting here just not doing this. And sure enough, met a friend. I went by kids' school, and he had a roofing business. And he told me all about it, and I should look into it. And sure enough, I was surprised to see how much help there is for people who want to do something like this. There's help out there. And I would search all the roofing manufacturer job sites, and they teach you how to do a roofing job right. And sure enough, I started Blue Horizon Roofing, and did one repair for a coworker, and that was it for $150 of revenue that year. And and that was it. So I said, I need to learn, but more about this, because I like it. And so I went back to that flooring business, and by then they were already a full remodeler and builder, and I went in as project manager, and I learned as much as I could, and realized that it was not as hard. I at least that's what I was thinking, and that I could do it, and I could do it better. So after that, I partnered with one of the other project managers, and we left and started Transom Remodeling.
And that's awesome. So you went from, sounds like, an MBA to working at, doing accounting to wanting to be on a roof. And so you went and joined a roofer, or you created a roofing business for less than a year.
Right.
Decided you didn't want to do that. So you went back into working for someone else, but this time as a project manager, and then decided you wanted to go out on your own and started your own business. I'm curious, I hear a lot people say, corporate America and working that, that desk job, the 9 to 5 job. Like, what was it for you that, like, what didn't you like? Did you not like being behind the computer all day? Did you not like not being in, kind of out and about, being able to go out to the, to people's homes, to, kind of working with your hands? Like, what was it for you? How did you know that you didn't want to keep working that corporate America job and you wanted to go be an entrepreneur and start your own thing?
Yeah, just like you said, just being out and about and meeting people and being in people's houses and get to see what they look like and what they could look like. And that's what really got me out there. And once we went on our own, my business partner was also starting a countertop shop. So after a while, she was more dedicating more time to her shop, and I asked her if I could just buy her part of the business out, whatever it was worth at the time. And sure enough, I wrote a check for $5,000 and bought myself my other half of the company.
Nice.
But yeah, it was being out there admiring real estate and meeting other people. Just getting to, that's how I have made a lot of friends and to know a lot of interesting people. And I have really enjoyed every second of it.
Sure. So when you left the business, after kind of working as a project manager for a little bit, like, so it was you and it sounds like another project manager. Were y'all both working at that same company and just decided, hey, let's go create our own and go out on our own? Like,
right.
What and how did you structure the business at that point? Like, were you guys just 50-50 partners, and what did each of you focus on? Kind of what did it look like in those first couple months?
So yeah, it was 50-50, and because I knew more of the business side of it, and she was a really good salesperson and already had more knowledge than I did. So she was out there looking for jobs, and I was behind scenes crunching numbers, but also managing the projects as far as putting schedules together and going out and checking on things. And then eventually she was a little absent, so because she had another business, so it's not it's hard to dedicate that kind of time to two businesses, especially when you're starting out. And I don't know why I thought I could do this on my own, and but it's what I wanted to do all the time. And I made the decision of asking her. She didn't take it well for a while, so it took about a month or two for her to finally give in. And
I can imagine that was quite a tough conversation.
Yes.
How many months in were you when you brought that up?
We had to be just about 6 months.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely nothing worse than that feeling of you're pulling all the weight, carrying all the baggage, doing everything, and your partner's not equally contributing, especially early on when everybody's working for that sweat equity. It can be very very challenging time. So I mean, that's awesome though that you didn't kind of let that drag on, because I've seen a lot of people who would let that situation go on for years. And as the business grows, I mean, regardless how much is being contributed to, I mean, the value of it is also increasing. And so that $5,000 check you wrote could have easily turned into a 50 or much more.
Oh yeah, I think so. And she was really good at sales, so she would bring most of the business to us, and I had to figure that part out and network and do good jobs so we could keep getting refer. And at one of those jobs, I ended up meeting a designer, and I was impressed with what she did, and she was impressed with what I brought to the table. We brought in good craftsmanship, and I brought also ideas to her design, and eventually say, hey, we should work together again. And we did, and then eventually we decided to share office. We have always remained as two separate businesses, but we have been very complementary to each other. She's brought us a lot of business, and we have brought more and more lately to her as well.
That's great. So just very, symbiotic relationship, just kind of helping each other but no, hadn't kind of joined the businesses, or she's not working for you, you're not working for her. It's just kind of more referring people. Yeah, I mean, that's a great way to do it as well. How did you overcome though that initial loss of losing your full-time salesperson? What did you do? I mean, did you take over sales? Is that that would happen? Did you go and recruit anyone else to join your team? Like what's the team kind of look like today as well?
I did. I just had to learn that. I mean, it was networking. To me, it has always been networking, and then word of mouth started to happen after that. And we've been probably 80% of our business has been word of mouth. So usually those jobs you're already 90% in. You just got to show up to kind of get the job done and get it closed.
And what year was this?
So we started in 2016.
Okay.
Around October. So 2017 was our first hard year of me being on my own. And then for some reason, I have been able to do just about everything. I was able to do everything for a long time. And then one day the opportunity came to a friend, a daughter's friend. A friend's daughter came to me, and she said she was studying architecture and wanted to see if she could help me for a summer. And I told her, yeah, that'll be great. Let's do that. And then she started to help me. And then after a week, I realized, like, oh, how have I been doing this all on my own? And as soon as she went back to school, I hired Angela, and she has been with Transom ever since. And then we kept growing. And 2 years ago, we had another growing pain, but it was where we hired a field crew. We have vehicles, we had project coordinators, project managers, and it just didn't. I said growing pain because I didn't know how to hire them. And my wife, who is all HR expert, she was just too busy to help me find the right people or at least interview them. And so they were just not good finds, and ended up costing me a lot of money because the project managers were out doing other things they were not supposed to be doing, and the field crew were leaving early, and then I had to put them somewhere else to start another job, and I had to hire subcontractors to come and finish their work. So we started to see the little money that we had just go out the door pretty fast. And then at the end of 2022 is I decided that it was time to just start over again. So I let everybody go pretty much except for one, and then that one person ended up leaving. So started from zero, and it's just me and Angela again, and here we go. We're already had a good last year, so we recovered pretty well, and we plan to do the same this year.
Nice. So are you so you're using subcontractors entirely now?
Yes.
Okay. What would you say, when you think back about those the kind of that first go round, like what, it sounds like maybe you hired, some of the wrong people potentially, or just also maybe didn't manage them as best you should, maybe a little more training. I mean, what do you think the other lessons were that you took away from that, you and Angela have said, hey, we're not going to do these things, again, we're going to do it differently. Like, what do you think the biggest, changes that you've implemented have been?
Well, I would say that I'm still not ready to do that, but and I've trained with different coaches, different organizations, but they have not been the right coaching for us. And actually today we just signed up with another business coaching group, and we'll see how that goes. And I like the way they looked at things, but not only that, I met another contractor who told me we were invited by one of our sales reps to the PGA tour that was here in town, and he was telling me about his business and how what we were doing there at the PGA was his work. This is what I'm doing for the company. This is how I grow my business, and I'm off on Fridays. I'm like, wait a minute, we're here at the tour watching golf, and you're off on Fridays? And yeah, I play golf, and then I have time to spend with my kids. But we found, 3-4 years ago, we got into a group we got coaching, and he didn't say who they were, but I got that feeling that it was the group that I was already talking to. And sure enough, I called the coach and asked him, it's like, do you guys coach so-and-so here in Dallas or near Dallas? And they say, yeah, they've been our client for 3 years. I was sold. I'm like, yeah, I can't wait to start playing golf on Fridays, every Friday.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I see firsthand every day the impact of, joining these coaching groups, kind of these networks. I mean, it's a great way to, be able to, learn from others, have a coach who can also kind of help, sort of be very kind of, hold you accountable, but, kind of give you good lessons, good guidance. But, just like you're saying, I mean, you definitely got to find your right tribe.
Yes.
I think there's a lot of groups out there, and, it sometimes personality, sometimes styles, kind of just even, how they talk and the way they approach problems, it doesn't always mesh for everyone. And so it does take some time to find that right group. But I think once you find that group, it can be extremely beneficial to have that person, really help you kind of get the foundation built, make sure it's, extremely strong, and then focus on scaling the business. So hopefully this new group will be a good one for you.
Exactly. And yeah, that's what this coach was telling me, because I think that, all those guys that I had let go, half of them were good. They were just not, they didn't have the right direction. And like you were saying, I don't have that foundation yet. So I'm not ready to move forward without building this first. And that's what we need right now. And that's what we're going to start working on.
Yeah. So where do you want to take the, kind of from a company structure standpoint, it sounds like it's just you and one other person. I mean, do you see yourself hiring, a salesperson, getting a full-time kind of operations, project managers? Like, what are you thinking in terms of kind of who might be good to bring on as full-time employees versus who do you want to kind of keep subcontracted out?
Well, we're gonna work with this coaching group, and we'll see what they recommend. But
Sure.
I think, we need a project manager. That's what I think right now, because I spend a lot of time out visiting jobs, and as you know, driving in Dallas is not a 20-minute drive somewhere from point A to point B. So I spend a lot of time between, school drop-offs to then drive to a job site, then to the office. Sometimes I'm still driving to pick up something for some of the trades, very rarely. But if I have to do it, I'll do it. And I need somebody, I'm calling it a project coordinator or project manager, that can be out there for me doing all those small things that doesn't necessarily require somebody extremely expert at what they're looking at, but taking pictures, talking to the trades, talking to maybe the clients down the road, and just for brief questions or keep them updated. And that would free up a lot of my time to what I think now should be focusing on networking. I'm joining different organizations throughout town, and not just organizations that have to do with what we do, but also with other parent network events, meeting other of my kids' schools' parents.
Sure.
Because I was looking at our book of work from last year. It's like, okay, where did all this come from? Like, I used to be more involved with school, and that's how 50% of this parents came from. So, like, okay, I need to give back to doing that.
Sure. Have you thought about how you can also kind of follow up, with all of those past customers? One, maybe they have, other jobs that you might be able to come in. Maybe you did their kitchen, and now maybe they want to get their bedroom redone or their bathroom redone, or even following up and just say, hey, do you know others who may be able to benefit from my services? And who would you recommend that I talk to? I think sometimes having some sort of kind of a, maybe it's 3 months after a project's completed, maybe it's 6 months. Maybe it's just everybody who you've ever done work for. You kind of, you create a campaign to reach back out and just see if they could refer you, to some other people.
It's funny you say that, because this year we implemented that exactly. We call all of our past clients after 3 months, after 6 months, and after 12 months. And then our plan is also to call them after 24 months and ask them if everything's going well, if there's anything that needs to come and be fixed under warranty. And sure enough, they love it. So it's been, we don't ask for a referral, but it's been very successful the way they have responded.
Yeah, that's great. Definitely, if you go in just kind of offering, or just going in, checking in, hey, how you doing? Is there anything I can, I think that definitely goes a long way. And it's almost kind of goes without saying, if you kind of just, how's life been? Yeah, we've been growing good, looking for, more business, things like that. It's almost, an implied, hey, if you know anyone, without having to be too forward about it. But I do think, at the end of the day, they understand, you got to keep growing your business. And, I think you can just be pretty upfront about it, if you're comfortable doing that and asking them.
Yeah. And another thing we have done is, we started a different company. It's called Transom Windows and Doors. That'll cater to a different clientele. We'll see. Now we can cater to all those friends and part of the network circle that I've meeting other contractors, and now we're going to offer also siding installation, and for that we're going to have to. We're also subcontracting that, but eventually we're going to have to hire our own crew.
Sure.
And we're partnering with different manufacturers to get better pricing. Sometimes they offer leads, and we're it has also, that's been another source of revenue for us. And we're still working under Transom Remodeling is just a subsidiary of Transom Remodeling.
Gotcha. So just kind of like another brand that you're using.
Yes. So we created a DBA.
Gotcha. So what have you done from a marketing standpoint? You know, do you guys have a website launch for Transom Remodeling?
Yes. So after, I think it was after at the end of last year, we relaunched the website, and we started to, so we created a new website. Now it's more going to be, we learned that not just having a website will do it. So we learned that we need to do a lot of work behind the scenes and create a SEO. So we started with a blog that now comes, newsletters will start coming out every month, and there will be a blog post every month. And so we hire somebody else to do that for us. So
Great.
That's one thing of marketing we've done. We're investing with Nextdoor, trying to get closer to the locals, and just reaching out to them through Nextdoor. I think trying to reach out to the close communities, Nextdoor, Facebook, mom groups, and things like that.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, you use all those resources, because I think, being able to get in there and just responding to people's questions, and, getting involved in some of those different groups and kind of making posts and kind of just contributing content, a lot of times you can start making connections, online. Right. I mean, all of that's entirely free. Now I do think too, though, you could also maybe, look at kind of starting to run just some ads, whether it's on Facebook, Nextdoor. I've heard kind of lots of different kind of, strategies for that. Some work better than others, depending on who you're targeting and what areas you want to go for. But, that could be another way to sort of, supplement the in-person networking that you're doing with, at the schools. Maybe that's how you could start to kind of try to get some inbound traffic coming, to your website, and then convert them from there.
Right. No, totally agree. But yeah, contributed on different design Facebook groups, design, architecture builders, and hearing some of that feedback is good, and we know we're putting our name out there. So
yeah, I think it's definitely a good move, though, to hire that out. If, again, I tell people all the time, as entrepreneurs, you got to choose. Am I going to, put on every hat and keep putting on more hats, or, am I going to figure out kind of what, where do I think I can add the most value? And then all these other functions, they still need to get done. But, that's when you need to go look for partners and people that, you can hire to deliver some of that and do it great, because you don't have the capacity or the ability or whatever it may be to execute on it. It's so important, though, that again, you always got to kind of do those key fundamental things of building any business. So it sounds like you basically have found a good marketing partner to help you get the website and get some of that going.
Yes, she has been great. She's been doing great work, and then on the window and door side, because it's still very young, and so we hired somebody who's cost less but is still doing decent work, and eventually we'll be able to scale it up.
Sure. I mean, I think, coming back to, managing the team, and the crews and everything. I mean, when I was running a construction company, when I first built out JobTread, what we did, is the first Wednesday of every month, we had like a 2-hour, it was like 6 a.m., breakfast meeting where we had both all of our, employees as well as all of our subs. Everybody came in, and, we spent the first hour kind of just going through, kind of team related updates, trainings, things like that. really tried to, build the culture and get people on the same page. Like, we just opened up, say, hey, here's where we're at with the business. Here are the projects that we've completed. Here are the ones, we're in the middle of, kind of talking about some updates. Here's what's coming down the pipe. Like, just kind of really tried to get people on the same page, regardless if they're an employee or a subcontractor. I think bringing them together, and helping them kind of, start to feel part of, the greater, culture and really be part of this company. Because, once they understood that, the better, that they did at their job, that was going to help us grow the company. That was going to help us get more customers, and that's going to give us more work, which in turn we could, turn around and, put more work on their plate and help feed their families. And so, I think something that, you can do is just, make sure that you're constantly, trying to kind of build that culture and help train them, and just, set those expectations. Because, it's easy to kind of tell someone, hey, here's what I expect. But, if you don't, constantly kind of remind them and hold them accountable, it can get hard to kind of manage it from afar, and I think one other thing that, that I would say that may help you the second go round is like, making sure that you hire someone, who's going to be, really great at managing, all of the projects, and even the crews and the subs, like the people that are out there on the job site, at the end of the day, like, if you're not able to kind of, devote your focus to that, 100%, like making sure that, balls aren't getting dropped and that your guys aren't showing up late and leaving early. I think it's really, really important that you think about, how can I put the right people in place and build that right team, because I think that's like the number one thing that, any entrepreneur, any, business leader needs to do is make sure that they've got all the right people on the bus, in the right seats, and then you figure out how to drive it together. Sometimes you got to get the wrong people off the bus too. And it sounds like, you've already kind of had to go through that. And you've learned what happens if you don't get the right people on the bus and then manage them. And again, make sure that, they're doing what they need to be doing and that it's acceptable and, and hopefully exceeding your client's expectations. So I think, probably really thinking through how can you, put that, kind of put that right sort of team in place to help you, build this out will probably go a long way.
Thank you. Yeah, definitely. And I hope this coaching group brings all of that, because I sure wouldn't want to go through that again.
Yeah. So I guess given your accounting background, I mean, like, are you managing kind of all of the back office, the, accounts receivable, accounts payable, all of that? Is that kind of in your wheelhouse as well right now?
Yeah. So that I was able to put and implement easily. And now pretty much Angela, our office manager, takes care of it.
Okay.
She just gets approval. But with my background, I was able to implement that into something that she can do for me.
Yeah.
So that has worked out great. Yeah.
I see that being a huge challenge for a lot of new businesses, especially just, not having that business, background and understanding the importance of having a good, clean set of books and,
right.
Having an accounting system in place. I mean, that's again, it's a lot of times that's sort of just, way off and outfield for people. And so, I very much encourage them to go find somebody who, they can kind of partner with and, hire that out, but it's so important. It sounds like you've got that, on lock. And so, it's definitely really focusing on how do we keep growing the sales, how do we keep kind of managing the projects, delivering that high quality, product that you expect and that you want to see,
right.
Your customers getting.
Yes. And that has freed some of my time to do other things. But again, it required implementation, it required knowledge. And that's one of my abilities. I can listen to a book like Profit First, and I can put that on a spreadsheet right away and put it to work. So that's the office work is, we don't have an issue with here.
Yeah. Well, so what else have you done from a kind of a, sort of sounds like the systems and processes have been put in place, is that, besides, I guess, QuickBooks, I guess you've got JobTread in there. How's that, been implemented for you?
Yes. So we have QuickBooks always been with us. That was an instant thing for me. Then we started looking to project management. We started out with builder training. It was too big, too expensive for us. Because they would, especially as our early stages, we were growing rapidly, doing a lot of smaller work jobs, and they charge by the job. So we were getting $1,000 monthly bill because we had 10, 20, $30 jobs. So it just didn't add up, and we eventually had to get rid of it. We heard about Co-Construct, and at that same time, we just signed up with them, and we started getting this call. It's like, hey, Carlos, we have this new software. We're right down the street. We would like to come and show you. And I was just, being the conservative that I am, I didn't want to take another risk when I already had just implemented something. And she kept calling, and then eventually I heard the builder trend bought Co-Construct, and I just knew exactly, with my business background, where that was going to go. So we decided to, it was more, we were not actively looking, but I was at a conference in Maryland and saw a JobTread booth. So it's like, I stopped and it sounds like you guys are the ones who have been calling me all this time. And here you are, all the way up here. So what do you guys have to offer? And I don't remember her name, but she showed me around, and it just looked so easy. It looked like an app. And we have clients told us like, hey, your software is, we like it. It's so friendly, user friendly that it just feels like an app. And we never had any client tell us that about a project management software. And I think we have about 2 clients tell us that already. And she showed me, and I was like, where do I sign? And I signed up right up there in Maryland, out of all places. You guys were 10 minutes. I probably even less than that. And came back. That was my golden nugget from that trip.
Wow. So how is it, how would you say that it's like helped you, kind of manage the business?
Tremendously. That in the business, the projects, I'm still learning. Last week I learned a new trick where I could put tags. And then I started also using Company Cam, and then Company Cam uploads pictures in seconds, and it just feed off to JobTread automatically. And I can just go to Company Cam and merge jobs, and it's so smooth. And then I go to JobTread and tag every picture. And I know what picture is related to electrical, plumbing, countertops, etc. And if I have questions, I just know all the pictures that I need for the countertop crew and all the pictures that I need for electrical crew, and just share them all, just the ones they need at the same time. It's phenomenal. That is, the technology in it is beyond what I ever expected.
Definitely helps to, make sure that all of the right people involved in any of the projects
yes.
need, and have that right information at their fingertips versus having to go try to hunt it down, looking through your photos and text messages and all that. Just having it right there is certainly a huge, huge benefit.
Right. And then the way you can just put reports together. You just custom make any report you want. So me being the number cruncher that I am, and I really enjoy that part of it too. There's a lot to it. And then of course the financial side, you guys charge per user, so for us it's perfect.
Awesome. So where do you want to take the business? What's your goal for, maybe the next couple of years? Like, how do you, how do you see this business being built out, and, where do you ultimately want to be with it?
Well, I wanted, I always had the idea that I could easily make it a $10 million kind of business. And I already have it all on a spreadsheet figured out if we get to 4, 6, and 10, what that could do for me, for my family, for my time, for the company, for all those that are going to be working with us. And some people want to stay small. We're in Dallas. I don't want to do that. I wanted to get big. I heard of people having $30, $40 million businesses, and I'll see why not we couldn't get there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's more demand than there is supply, and it's
Yes.
People want to continually improve their number one asset, which is their home. So there's certainly no shortage of of work out there. And I think at the end of the day, it just takes what sounds like what you've already done is you sort of modeled out what is your growth going to look like. So you decided, okay, I want to get to 10 million, and so in order to do that, you figure out kind of what does your growth need to look like for the next kind of back into per year. We grow from 1 million to 2 million to 4 to 6 to 8. And
Right.
I assume that will also kind of help you sort of figure out what do you need from how many jobs do we need to bring in each year? Maybe even before that, how many leads do I need, and what's my closing ratio, and then how many jobs do we need to win, and then what's my my gross profit on that, and what's going to cover all your costs, and what's our net income looking like. And so that sort of helps you to figure out how to model the growth, and who do we need to hire, when do we need to hire them. I think those are really important decisions. A lot of people, again, without the kind of that financial, that accounting background, don't sort of kind of think about those
Right.
things or understand those things. But no doubt, sounds like you probably got a great kind of great handle on that part.
And I actually do. Again, it's I do, but it's simple. It's the formula is there. I tell people it's simple, but it's not easy. It's not easy to put in once. I mean, it's simple to put it together. You can see it, you can picture it, but then you also have to go out there and grind it. You have to put in the work to accomplish every single step, because it's a lot, because there's going to be the way this coaching group was put in together. It's like climbing Mount Everest. You just don't go straight up, because you're not going to make it. You're going to go to the first stage and then have to come back down and figure out how you're going to get better to go back to the first stage. And go to the second stage and then come back down to the first stage. And that's what we're going through right now.
Yeah. I mean, I think, though, again, it's the fact that you've already kind of set sort of, here's some goals. You obviously, as with every model, you got to make some assumptions, and
Right.
you're kind of setting, hey, here's, if we do this, here's what'll happen. But at the end of the day, like, modeling is modeling, and really you have no idea how it's going to happen. It's all just, total, who knows, right? But it gives you something that you can then, once you start getting some actuals, some historical data, now you can look back and compare it to the model and say, well, where were we right? Where did we miss? What
Exactly.
assumptions do we need to tweak moving forward? And I think that's what it takes, though, is just constantly reevaluating, looking at what are your KPIs, the key drivers of this model, and focusing on them. And then, again, making sure that you're hitting those goals. And if you don't, then you make adjustments and you keep going.
Right. And that's what we're doing right now, adjusting through the coaching, going back to fundamentals and figure out what we need to do to get more leads. And then we work with Builder Fire on how we can close more of those deals, that more of those leads, and we're constantly working with different organizations to get better. It takes, you just can't do it on your own.
Yeah.
Don't know. Nobody knows that much.
Yeah. Well, and I think again, if being an entrepreneur was easy, then everybody would do it.
Right.
If creating a $10 million company was just simple, then why wouldn't everybody go do it? Well, it's not simple. It takes a lot of work. It takes grinding. I mean, it's something that again, it just doesn't come easy or natural to most people, and so I think it does. It takes a lot of hard work, a lot of persistence, thick skin. You're going to get told no a lot. And, you're going to have those tough, employee situations, those tough, kind of personnel, you got to be able to address those.
Yes.
That'll be a challenge. You're going to have those tough customers too, that, they make you just want to hang your hat up and say, forget it. Like, this isn't worth it. But, it's being able to overcome those challenges and keep going. And, I think it's the entrepreneurs who are continually investing in themselves, in their business and take the time to reflect on your performance and, how are things going, what's working, what's not working, what can we do better? Like that is what, it takes to be successful and to continue growing and improving and knowing, I mean, that, it's not just a short little sprint here. I mean, this is, a long marathon over, many, many months and years. And so, just being able to kind of, have that passion, is something that I've found that, like, at the end of the day, like, you got to make sure you love what you're doing. Because, during those tough times like that, you can fall back on your own passion. Like, this is why I'm here. It gives you gives you that strength and courage to just keep plowing ahead and not
bouncing back.
Yeah.
Because very few people, if any, are going to believe or see what you're have in mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, look, Carlos, I appreciate you coming on and sharing this, because again, it's sounds like you've definitely have learned a lot over the years, and again, you could have just as easily kind of hung up the hat like everybody else and gone back to corporate America, that desk job. And but like that's not what you're doing. You're doubling down. You've hired more coaching. You're investing in yourself, and man, I believe you're going to do you're going to hit those goals. You're going to grow that business. Like, I know that you do great work, with the jobs that you're taking on, but yeah, keep investing in the team, thinking about how you're going to, train, your people, hold them accountable, make sure they're delivering, that high expectation that you have for all of your jobs. And, I think, also investing in the sales and marketing aspects, which you're doing as well, that's ultimately going to feed the top of the funnel and will help you keep growing. And, it's just about continuing to improve, and I think you're doing all the right blocking and tackling. You just got to keep hitting it, keep going.
Definitely, and we will, and keep finding the best to accomplish the best. Companies like you guys that can do what we expect and deliver more than we expect to. You guys have been a great part of this last couple of years already. Have gone by very fast, and we have really enjoyed, and I mean, just being able to call and get a person to guide us through it, or we'll call you right back, and sure enough, you always find the answer for us. And that has been instrumental for us, and we're having Angela become the JobTread expert more than me, and I just go to her, and she doesn't know the answer. Okay, let me call Stephanie. Don't worry.
Well, yeah. Well, we again, we're always here for you. Definitely tap into to our team, because we've helped thousands of companies implement this, and we've seen a lot of the similar challenges. But again, it's all about just kind of learning and overcoming those challenges. So however we can help, you're always welcome to even come over to our office if you want to, sit down and, break some bread and figure out, some strategies. Happy to collaborate with you however we can to help you, because, I want to see you, build a really great business. Want to see you hit that 10 million, man. That's my new mark for you. So,
all right.
One way or another, maybe how many years it takes us to get there, I don't know, but, whatever we can do to help, Carlos, we're excited to be a partner of yours and appreciate you trusting us. And, I just, appreciate you coming on too and sharing, some of the challenges, because that's, that it isn't easy, and I think hopefully this will help some others, think about, how they can, implement some of these things that we've talked about today to maybe save themselves some of those hard lessons that you've had to learn along the way.
I hope so, and I'll take your word for it. I'll show up one day at your office.
Come on. All right, man. Appreciate you coming on. We'll see you, Carlos.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for joining us for this episode of Builder Stories. We hope you enjoyed the conversation and gained valuable insights that can help you in your journey along the way. Don't forget to subscribe to the show and leave us a review. And as always, if you or someone you know has a story to share, please contact us at builderstories.com. We'd love to hear from you. I'm Eric Fortenberry, and remember, every builder has a unique story. Keep building yours.